I'd like to call to order the Zion Park District regular meeting to order on June 15th, 2023. Okay, please read the roll call.
Commissioner Rivers?
Here.
Commissioner Magiera? Commissioner Pye?
Here.
Commissioner Ferment?
Here.
President Hartman?
Here. Okay, if I can get everybody to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So move.
I entertain a motion to attend to approve the the minutes for the meeting dated 17 May of 2023.
I second it.
And we got the, we also have the regular meeting and the personal sub-finance. So you got these two right here. Got sub-finance and then the regular meeting.
And the meeting for Sub-Finance Committee held on 17 May 2023.
And then the regular meeting.
And we're going to approve the bills here?
Yeah. All right, I have a second.
Yeah.
Second, Jesse second. All right, Kay, please read the roll call.
Commissioner Rivers?
Aye.
Commissioner Magiera? Commissioner Pye?
Aye.
Commissioner Ferment?
Aye.
President Hartman?
Aye. Okay, we have guests. Anybody have any comments or anything like to bring up?
Chilly night for your first concert in the park.
Yeah, definitely.
This is June, right?
Yes,
I just want to make sure.
It's not summer yet. Try as hard
Close.
as I can. I cannot wash my sweaters and put them away. Because just about the time
Don't
I
do it,
that,
because you're going to have to pull them right back out again.
Absolutely.
Well, ma'am, I really appreciate you coming, and I truly appreciate your support that you've been giving us. So it's a pleasure having you here, and I thank you for it.
Well, if
So
you never look at the book, my name is Sandra. Please stop calling me ma'am.
that's just that's a military thing, and that's something I
okay,
stick
but
with. So
I've been married to 2 guys in the military, and at some
So.
point you can drop it.
okay, well, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
So hey everybody, welcome David.
Thank you.
And if you flip to your third to last page in your packet, there's a flyer there that Sherry put together that says support the restoration of Zion
Yes.
Festival. So she'll talk a little bit about it.
So I just wanted to give you guys an update. Hopefully you've seen the video that was created. Incredible video by a guy by the name of Carson Barr put that together. And here our intention is that next Wednesday at 6 o'clock p.m. we're going to be doing the groundbreaking. We've got the an Eagle Scout project that they're going to be digging the trench, and then they will get going on it. We're still in the midst of raising the money, and so if we are not able to raise all of the funding, what we would like to be able to do is instead of pouring concrete, put down crushed limestone. In the meantime, so we need to dig it up in order to run the electric and the electrical line for the fountain, and so and as well as the drainage for the fountain. And so the plan B, even though I'm intending on sticking with plan A, and we will have the money and it will go off as planned, but just in case, so that we have a relief valve that we would put in crushed limestone until we raise the money, and then we would kick it out for that.
Well, this I have to say is a great project, and I think it's going to go off top notch as everything else does around here. So I'm going to be leaving out of town tomorrow morning. I'll be back probably July 12th.
Oh snap!
So what I want to do is I'll stop by your office and we'll talk about this donation thing for you, because I'd like to donate.
That would be awesome.
So-
We've got pledge sheets. If anybody's interested in going to be in town and wants to take around a pledge sheet, everybody that donates more than $10, we're intending that we're getting Esther's Well t-shirts. the kids at the high school, they actually came up with the tagline, "Take it to the well." And we had the shirt designed, so we're really excited about it. We're actually meeting with the CEO of City of Hope next Thursday at 2 o'clock, myself, the mayor, and Mike McDowell about Esther's Well, to see if they'll be a partner with us in this so that we can, it'll go off smoothly. Yeah.
Is that a cancer center still? Okay. Okay, well,
Yeah.
again, I think this is a great project. Any of the commissioners have anything?
Well,
Jessica?
just two
Oh,
dates I
go
want to
ahead.
make sure are in your calendar. The first date is next Wednesday, the 21st of June. And then I also am working out details. I want to try and have a drone there to take pictures. And so I'm working out all the details with Christine Wortman on that. And then the other date is July 12th at 6 o'clock, having the.
Wednesdays at 6 o'clock on
Yep.
the 21st.
Both Wednesdays, yeah, yeah. Awesome.
Okay.
So, and depending on how it goes with City of Hope next Thursday, I may be reaching out to Christine to see if we can pull off a 5K run the night of the 12th at 7 o'clock, to continue to push to raise the money if we can make that happen, so.
Jess, you had
FYI,
something?
Just a heads up. Okay.
Oh, go ahead, ma'am.
Yes, I would like to ask you a question. When I was out there looking at.
Is she allowed? No, I'm just kidding.
I'm a citizen, I got it. When I was out there looking at the well, I saw that to the north, there's a few steps,
I thought you had something.
concrete steps, but it stops.
Right.
Now, is the park district or your group planning on taking that out to the street or
It's just
some
gonna
way
stay
to
right there.
get to it?
For
It's just
whatever.
my understanding is just gonna stay with its original character of how it was built.
The steps go, you gotta know the steps are there.
It's just part of the original character of it, so we didn't want to make it
Okay,
any different
I
than it
didn't know
was.
maybe that wasn't a
Yeah.
finished project, so I'm gonna.
Yeah, no,
I think what Dowie did was he just did that landing there, but Chris Community Church wasn't there then. So yeah, I don't know what he did, but that's the original
That
concrete.
was a street or something
or something.
there.
Maybe there was a path or something, or a
Yeah.
limestone path or something, yeah.
Yeah, because even something like that, because I've talked to a few people about this, they go, where is it? I say, well, it's by the pool, but on the far side of the parking lot. And they look at me like, I said, you know, and I couldn't explain it any better, and then I went and looked at it again, and I know why people don't see it.
right? You know?
Because that hump,
Is
don't
there an
even-
opportunity for
you have to be walking around there to see
To be
it.
able to
Yeah.
see it, yeah.
Is there an opportunity, once we get this completely completed, to put a sign up for the park district to?
Yeah, I think we could definitely talk about that, right, so people
Yeah.
can find it, some
Right.
signage.
Yeah.
No,
Makes
because
sense.
it's not,
It makes sense.
it's not obvious
Yeah,
from.
you can't
I mean,
write
you,
it.
Maybe by
the
the
only
pool
way you
parking
can
lot or
see it,
something.
even when before it was worked on, was if you walked that bike path.
Mhm.
And then it would just be, what is that?
Right.
Because that's how I first discovered it
Right.
years ago, but, you know, so it really is, it's a wonderful project, but is anybody gonna be aware of it after these things?
That is not already here.
Wasn't the plan also, Sherry, to have a plaque out there or something that's gonna explain
Yep,
what
that's
it
what
is, so
we
when
have.
people do come across it?
Once
will-
they get to it.
Yeah,
they'll-
yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, getting to it.
Finding it,
Because that's
yeah.
another one of those hidden treasures of Zion's
Yeah,
history.
just-
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people
Yes.
have to search out, and if they don't know it's
Yeah.
there, they're not gonna search
Does
for
the
it.
So
city,
it-
Signage would, yeah.
yeah, does the city have
interestingly-
signs for historical,
Yeah.
the monuments?
Landmarks, maybe,
Right,
right?
because a lot of times they'll have those,
Maybe
they
talk
post
to
them on a
the
stop
historical
sign and say.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
So
Like that's-
Daughters of Revolution, we're talking about having something like that. Mike McDowell's talking about a different sign, so maybe once we get all on the same page, we can do that.
Sure.
So did you get a chance to talk to, what's that one guy, Rich Church, or, just kidding, about the fill, when we, cause we're, you know, cutting out around.
Oh, no, but I will follow up with him after the meeting.
Perfect.
Thanks. Or we'll send you a text tonight, or we'll catch up.
Whatever, yeah, sounds good, yeah. Heads up.
Yes, that's right.
Did I do that nonchalantly enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is Rich here tonight?
Rich is here.
Oh, okay.
Good, yeah. So,
All
yeah,
right.
but anybody that wants pledge sheets or anything, please get a hold of me. I would love to have you help
I
us raise the
have
money.
a question for Julie. What is next Wednesday?
We're gonna do the groundbreaking.
Okay,
Yep. And then July 12th will be the ribbon cutting.
okay.
From my lips to God's ear.
All right, it'll
What happened?
work.
Yeah.
It'll
Thanks,
work.
everybody. I hope you guys can make it. So,
Yeah.
All right,
All right, thanks for stopping in.
stop.
You
Take
good?
care.
Sir?
All right, anybody else have anything? All right, let's move on. Any changes to the agenda?
Nope.
All right, so
No
I'll
changes.
entertain a motion to approve the agenda with no additions.
So move.
Have a
Second.
second? Okay, please read the roll call.
Commissioner Rivers,
Aye.
Commissioner Pye,
Aye.
Commissioner Frank,
Aye.
President Hartman.
Aye. All right, commissioners' comments. Any commissioners have any comments?
I got about 4 or 5 of them.
Oh, my God. Go ahead, Jeff.
One over there by, what was that?
The road?
Yeah,
Like Johnny's house?
yeah. That bike path, you guys did one
Oh,
heck of a good job.
by Sportsman's Parking?
Yeah, on the way down, that trees,
He said that last.
the trees look awesome too. And I played cello for the last 25 years or longer. I never seen cello this good in my 25 years at cello. They doing good.
Yeah.
3, the band shop looks great. You guys keep me up with a lot of trimming, mowing. You guys, they are edging the sidewalk. Very nice. Next is the parking lot. Downhill.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
That parking lot needed work like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But that is awesome. Is there a plan of doing the side parking lot?
Well, which side? The service drive side on by the band shell or the larger lot?
You're talking about the larger, right, Jeff?
Larger lot
Yeah.
for right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely there will be a plan for it and there's a need for it, but, you know, when we prioritize kind of out everything that we've got and the projects we've got coming up, unfortunately, we're gonna have to just hold off on that lot for a little bit longer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
even that lot needs it too.
definitely, yeah, definitely.
But you guys doing, tell your staff the whole park looking great. I forgot one thing. The new sign on 173
That looks good.
look great. That is nice. But all around you guys doing a great job with everything.
Yeah, thanks. Like I said, it's a team effort, you know. We have a great team and we have a lot of people and everyone's working hard.
Great comments, Jeff.
Thank you.
I do have one thing. Memorial Day was, I want to thank all the commissioners that did participate in the Memorial Day celebration. It was touching for me, but more importantly, I think the mayor did a superb job on his speech. I thought he hit all the right notes, and it was an outstanding speech he did. And again, I want to thank all the commissioners that participated and came out for it. I really appreciate it. So, again, echo the words that Jesse said. Everything is looking superb. Everything's looking great. Both golf courses are looking outstanding. The parks are looking great. Pool is looking good. So I think we're going to have a successful year once the weather succeeds with us. I think we're going to have a good year, and we're lucky to have the lifeguards because there are a lot of park districts out there that are still suffering for lack of lifeguards. So everybody's doing a great job. And again, I'd like to echo what Jesse said. So
Thanks.
anybody else have anything?
I'm good.
All right. We have anything from the attorneys?
No reports from the attorneys.
All right. The treasurers, I will entertain a motion for unpaid bills.
I entertain the motion for unpaid bills in the amount of $400,078,526.78.
I have a second.
I'll second it, I'm just trying to find it here, so.
All right, I have a second. Can you please read the roll call?
52 of the PDF.
52, okay, thank you.
Commissioner Rivers,
Aye.
Commissioner Pye,
Aye.
Commissioner for me,
Aye.
President Hartman.
Aye. All right, your report there, Eric?
Yeah. Scroll down. So, as we just mentioned, as we just talked about here, the Park District now is really in full swing, right? Our busy summer season is here. As I mentioned, we currently have over 160 employees on payroll, working throughout the district in various capacities. Our staff have done a great job hiring quality people. And, working at a park district is really interesting because we're hiring people that are ranging from ages from 16 to possibly 70 years old if they're working starter ranger at the golf course. So it really is, a massive undertaking and a big team effort to kind of gear up for the summer, all the planning that goes into place, all the onboarding, the interviewing. But our dedicated full-time staff, they've been working incredibly hard. So, it's great to see baseball being played on our fields. Soccer games at David Park and behind the leisure center here. Families enjoying the pool, golfers on the golf courses, the day camps near capacity, patrons in our fitness facility. We have some great special events upcoming. Obviously, we have our first concert of the season going on right now outside. Tomorrow we have a Juneteenth celebration. And there'll be also 3 Little League games being played on the baseball fields back here behind the Leisure Center. Kay brought in an additional, Lake County FC soccer club that's using our facilities. So
Wow.
they have about 200 participants, 200 youth in their league. So if you see people out behind the Leisure Center playing soccer, that's been a great partnership. So, and as Jesse mentioned, our parks and facilities are in excellent condition, thanks to Rich and his team. But everyone really should be proud of their efforts at the Park District and really be proud of, I think, the value, again, that we add to the community in many aspects. So, the next thing I just wanted to touch on too was that Commissioner Fermaint and I took a tour of the district on May 31st. So we spent a few hours kind of driving around, getting to know each other, and also looking at, all the different facilities and parks and open lands throughout the district. We talked about some of the history of the park district, some of its current operations, the challenges that we're facing, and some of our future initiatives to really help kind of Dave, just get up to speed on our board meetings when we're bringing some of these capital purchases and some of the strategic plans. So he has a good kind of visual of where we're talking about and what we've been working on over the years.
It was very, very informative. So.
Good, I'm glad. And introduced him to many of the staff that we, encountered at the various facilities that we stopped at. Talked about some of the OSLAD projects that we had coming up. So yeah, I do think it was a nice tour, and I enjoyed spending that morning with them. Also want to mention the a recent grant that we received, the game time funding for Shiloh Park Playground. Our new accounting manager secured funding through a 2023 IPRA statewide funding initiative, which was offered by a playground manufacturer called Game Time. So she took the initiative to go to the training, learn about the program, and submitted an application for the Park District for the equipment that will be purchased for Shiloh Park. So it is effectively like a 50% discount, from the manufacturer on the equipment that we'll purchase.
Wow.
So she was, successful in getting that award. If you look toward the back of the packet, there's a letter that's kind of congratulatory and like a certificate as
Right.
well. So, again, just doing everything we can to maximize our funds, whether it's through state grants, manufacturers grants, and whatever is out there. But yeah, that's the majority of it. Like I said, we have a firecracker tournament coming up. I'm sure Jesse's registered for that one.
No.
No?
No. That's ridiculous.
So yeah, a lot of great stuff coming up.
All right. Hey, one thing you did mention with the tour
Mhm.
with Commissioner Ferment was, and I truly recommend that each of the commissioners do take a tour if you haven't, especially if you haven't been on one in a while, to get up to date on the different things that are going on and, you know, kind of get a bird's eye view of what really is going on out there. So I highly recommend each of the commissioners, and I definitely will. So if you guys have time, get with Eric, go out,
Yeah.
take a tour, and look at what's being upgraded, what's, you know, it's
Happy
good
to
for
do it.
everybody.
Yeah, happy to do it, because I know a lot of times when we bring projects in for you guys, to explain them to you and for approval and everything,
You
you're
just need
seeing
to
the
see.
nice, brand new, you know,
Right.
designs and the architectures, renderings and all that, but what you're not seeing is the old dilapidated facility or park that it's replacing.
Right.
You know, so, I mean,
So-
we're replacing stuff that's in significant need.
So it's a good idea to get out there and take a look. All right, great job, Eric, thank you. All right, now, the big one, the oath of office. Did you bring your right hand? You gotta raise your right hand.
Okay.
Not yet,
It was-
but I just wanna make sure you got your right
Oh.
hand with you.
So do you want to do it right there, or do you want to stand up?
Oh, I didn't even know it was today. Okay.
Yeah, that's
The
today.
agenda.
It's today. All right, Eric, go ahead.
So please raise your right hand and repeat after me.
Okay.
I, state your
I.
full name,
I, Carolyn Love Rivers,
having been elected to the office of Park Commissioner
having been elected to the office of Park Commissioner
in the Zion Park District
in the Zion Park District
of the City of Zion
of the City of Zion
in the County of Lake,
in the County of Lake,
do solemnly affirm that I will support
do solemnly affirm that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Park Commissioner
of the office of Park Commissioner
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Carolyn, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
All right, good job.
Oh,
Glad to have you back.
oh, glad to be back.
Yeah, yeah.
Next is the energy transition community.
Yeah, so the Energy Transition Community Grant Program, if you can flip to, within the director's report, and in the PDF, I think it's PDF page 56, it has a table in there. It's the page, it's the single page with the table that has, and then the Illinois Department of Commerce logo on it as well.
Yep.
So what's that? Yeah. Carol, maybe a few pages earlier. Keep going earlier. A couple more earlier.
What page?
PDF page 56.
56.
It's in the director's report. Like.
Oh, okay, that's what I did. Okay.
Right there.
Yeah, there you go.
Is this the report?
Did everyone find it there? Because that chart of values is kind of important.
Oh,
You got it, Jess?
yeah.
And Dave, you're there? Okay. So I wanted to provide our board an update on the status of the taxing bodies initiative that, so it really began 8 years ago, right? And the thought process at that time was to secure funding for the stranded nuclear fuel on our lakefront, right? And those efforts have made significant progress, recently, after hitting a lot of dead ends and twists and turns over that 8-year period. The idea and the undertaking was really, spearheaded by the city administrator, David Nabel, 8 years ago. And it was really to go after funding at the federal level. But at the funding level, they kept running into, different challenges and difficulties and never could really get that federal legislation passed. They finally were able to make some headway going through the state legislator. And really through the efforts of State Representative Joyce Mason and newly elected Senator Mary Edley Allen, got the funding passed at the state level, right, that awarded the $14,136,793. So it's an annual amount of $14,136,793 to all of the entities in Zion, right, that are taxing entities in Zion. So that award that's coming from the state of Illinois is going to be annual. And you can see in the table there the breakdown as to which entity is allocated how much of the money per year, okay? So with the Park District making up 6.7% of a resident's tax bill, our funding allocation is effectively 6.7% of the total 14 million, right? That's how it came about. That was decided by the state of Illinois through all the legislation that was passed. And then you can see the different amounts that each entity gets, as I said. Now, that was the first, and so we meet with the taxing bodies group, and we've been meeting frequently on this, you know, over the years, and even more frequently now that this has been announced. And that group is really comprised of like the city administrator, the mayor, the fire chief, the police chief, myself, the director of the library, the township supervisor, Sherry, the superintendent of the high school, and the 2 interim superintendents of the grade school, right? Because everyone's trying to be sure that we are on the same page with these funds and the best use of these funds for the community. And also helping each other to understand the logistics of how do we go about actually getting these funds, right? Because one of the things that became a challenge was the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, so kind of commonly referred to as DCEO, right? DCEO was the organization or the branch within Illinois government that kind of grabbed onto these funds and said, okay, we'll administer this. We'll be the steward of these funds. We'll distribute it to the different taxing entities, which honestly made it difficult because it wasn't really what the group was expecting. As far as like we were expecting that the allocations would be announced and everyone would get an annual payment. Just here's your money, here's what it comes. DCEO, and this is one of the challenges we've been working through recently, both in our groups and in discussions with DCEO, is like, so how do we apply to you for these money that's already really been allocated to us? This is not a competitive grant. And DCEO is telling us at this point that it has to be project-based. You have to spend the money and then go back and then submit for reimbursement of the money. Now, that creates a challenge in and of itself, so we're trying to work through that. Kay and I have already been working on actually going through which is like a traditional grant application, which is very long, and we've been working through that. But the taxing bodies group in general also, has had discussions about the importance of using this money to help reduce property taxes, right? Because that was a lot of the initial thought years ago.
Right, because of the new plan.
Right, because without the new plant, Zion took such a hit on its property tax base, right? And this is supposed to support that. So the taxing bodies, and it'll be as we continue to work through, a lot of the discussions. I'll bring it back to the board and keep you updated on how this is all working. But it's definitely more difficult than we had hoped it would be. The good news is the legislation has been passed. The difficult news is how do we actually get the money from them to us?
Now, is this a yearly salary that we get? I mean,
yes,
yearly?
for 22 years.
For 22 years, that's
Right.
what we get yearly?
Yes.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
So the group has been talking about what percentage of that is everyone willing to use to reduce property taxes in your district, right? So what we've been talking about is trying to get, different scenarios have been like trying to sign an intergovernmental agreement. So all the taxing bodies will agree to what percentage of this they will apply to property tax relief, right? So what we were looking at, just talking about this morning in a meeting, was like a ramped up approach of like 10%, 20%, 30% each year, continue to allocate a little more of this toward property tax relief, property tax abatement, right? But like I said, we still have to figure out some of the difficulties with relation to actually getting the money, the timing of those cash flows as well. When is the state going to give us that money back? Because what we can't do is like reduce property taxes from our property tax levy, but then be waiting on DCEO to reimburse us for a year and a half on funds, right? So, I mean, I will say everyone in the group, including the Park District, I would say is supportive of using some portion of this for property tax relief. But it'll still be a little bit of time before we, get to those final details. And as we do, and as more things are known, we'll certainly come back to the board, because this will be a board decision ultimately on how much of the Park District's $897,000 will be used for the Park District to lower its property taxes, right? And all the different entities are gonna have to go to their boards and say, how much, for example, Zion School District 6, how much of your 6.1 million, are you gonna use to help
Lower the
lower
taxes.
taxes?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Was the Department of Commerce put in control of this distribution within the legislation?
no,
See that?
Okay.
no.
That's what gets me is where'd they get the power to?
This is by regulation then, or local, or state law, or state regulation rather.
I would imagine there's something in state regulation that says there has to be some department within our government that oversees this, right? Because Joyce Mason is really the one that championed this legislation and really helped push it through. And then, after DCEO's involvement was announced, we called Joyce and said, hey, this is what has happened, And so I don't think that...
Did she know it was coming, or?
She knew that the 14 million, but she didn't know how it was going to be distributed.
Okay.
DCEO's involvement at all.
Hmm.
I think we're still continuing to work with Joyce Mason and Senator Marriott Lee Allen and DCEO to try to figure out if in future years, right, in subsequent years, can we streamline this a little bit more, right?
Good.
So it'll be a work in progress.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, at least the money's there. Now
Yeah.
we just got to figure out how we can get our hands on it.
Right.
So.
Right. So.
Okay. Well, just like I said, Eric, and you said it. Keep us posted on
Yeah, I'll
the
definitely keep the
upcoming.
board posted, right? Because it's
yeah.
going to be, a hot topic in the community. There's no
Right.
doubt, and the board needs to be,
Yeah.
not only involved in the decision, but also just kind of aware of what's going on with it. So,
Sounds good.
yeah.
All right. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. Next is Chad.
Yeah.
Your big brief.
So just as an introduction for Chad. So I don't know if you've met David, but Chad is our Chief of Park Rangers, Chad Murphy. He's going to discuss, I would assume the transition from the police department to the ranger department, the growth over the year, the successes that he's had. I mean, Chad's done an incredible job forming and building a ranger department. And honestly, we wanted to hold off on this report until David was fully on board and, give him a good overview of what they do as well.
Yeah, so we were a normal, traditional police department within the Park District. After lots of discussions, we switched to a non-sworn park ranger department. That was due to a lot of reasons. One, just having to maintain the extra training and everything that goes with it, the funds that come with that, the cost of hosting body cams and all the juvenile records and things like that. One of the biggest pros of the whole transition is being able to hire more from the community itself. I will say our staff now better represents the community. Last year, every single one we've hired has been from at least the local community, whether it's City of Zion, if not one of the surrounding cities, which has been great. When someone's working, over half the people are bilingual. So now we have that much better communication with the public, which is hugely important. You guys have been, updated and stuff throughout the year, but during the transition, there was a lot of work with the Law Enforcement Training Standard Board. I worked with several different state departments, met with several of their attorneys with the process, make sure it was in order and everything was lined up. Even after the transition was done, Jan Noble, one of the investigators for the state that handles this area, still came out and met with me afterwards, just, hey, I want to make sure everything's good, any questions, looked at our stuff to make sure everything was in order and in line. Throughout the last year, we had quite literally a closet office up here We moved downstairs. What's really been nice is we've put monitors on the wall. We've added cameras, so now whenever someone's working, they can see all the main areas, what's going on, which is really nice, helps predict our patrols. What we see is a lot of people there, because that's our goal. We're just gonna be wherever people are, you know, not, because that's where we need to be. We can monitor every time someone we have door fobs to get indoors. We can monitor those in real time, see what's going on, see if alarm is going off. We now have it on an app on our phones. Hey, there's an alarm going at this building. We can immediately respond and see what's going without delay. That's been a huge help. I mean, that's been a lot of it doing there. We've added new vehicles, but the best part is still the vast majority of our, I mean, it's just under 80% of our budget still goes to salaries, having people out. We do a better job than we ever did before, of keeping really good records of everything that we come across. And because of that, we use our historical data to decide where our patrol is going to be, where our patrols need to be. And that's one of the reasons we're getting more stuff now, more calls, is because we now see, oh, not just, I'm going to make the place up, not just a diner trail, but it's this part of it. You know, there's some homeless shelter, you know, camps down there. People don't feel safe going down there. Now we can push not just a part, but specific areas of it. So we're now going out there much further and stuff like that. You know, and in the end, our job is, we've made it clear, especially since the transition, we are not just enforcement. That's the small part of what we do. We're ambassadors for the Park District. We want to be out there. Hey, how you doing? You know, positive interactions with people. We want, because not everyone can be everywhere. We have so many parks where they come up, and people are more likely to come up to us now. We found to come up to more often of, hey, I just got a question. Do you guys have this going on? Do you have this? You know, I heard about this. So we can guide them now, you know, to those specific areas and goals and stuff as well. And we're trying to work more with other departments within the county, within the city than we used to. Like I kind of threw in there the little packet, kind of what some of our plan for our Independence Day celebration. You know, in the past we officially grouped with ESDA, Zion ESDA to help us out, but now we're contracting out with Zion PD to provide help. For this first year, we're also working with Lake County Sheriff's Department with auxiliary deputies. They don't charge us anything for coming out, and I've met with them several times already, said, hey, what we're looking for, soft hands, just be there, positive, we're here to help you out, lost children, answer questions, you know, but unfortunately, be prepared for Highland Park where if there's a more presence, we don't want that. I mean, last week was a police state, so we're trying to be more of the positive. And with our agreement with Zion PD, they're gonna handle all the road closures, all the traffic out there, so our staff can be entirely
Inside
within
the park.
District, dealing with Park District people. I mean, they're still gonna have a couple of walking around here, but I want my entire staff in here as opposed to just blocking the road for a couple hours or something as well. You know, we're trying to build plans for those contingencies and everything else involved in that. And as always, you guys ever have questions, you know, you can reach out to me personally at any time.
Anybody have anything? Well, first of all, Chad, I want to tell you that when this all started and you took over, you've done leaps and bounds to get it where it is today. And that was proven during last year's Bella Kane concert, where we had 0 incidents. And it was your people out there and partnering with Zion PD. I'm not, you know, it's a whole big thing. And I know for a fact, because I went on stage, I don't think you could have put this water bottle between anybody that was in that area around the Park District. I mean, the place was packed. I never seen so many people in the Park District on that night. And how many incidents do we have? You want me to say it again? 0. So, there you go. So that tells me a lot.
Some small stuff that we took
Well,
care of,
but you know that's going to happen.
And
No
part
matter
of our, like part of our plan and talk we have is we make that stuff as private as possible. Get them out of the area, talk to them.
Yep.
That's a big part. If they're, because you can't have signs that list every rule. We wouldn't want that.
Right.
You know, that's not welcoming. So that's how we talk to people. We go through, hey, know it's not a sign, you probably didn't know, there's a rule against this, but here's how you can, you know, you can do that here, but not here. You know,
Right.
we just try to treat people with the respect that they deserve right off the bat, because you can always go, but you obviously can't always go down.
Like I
And
said-
the stuff we deal with, it's not running and gunning type stuff, obviously, but we want that positive interaction.
But like I said, you've done leaps and bounds
I appreciate
from
it.
what we had to what it is now. And, you know, I myself, and I know a lot of the commissioners also agree with me that, you know, we feel comfortable, you know, going out in the parks. Not that I didn't before, but now I do, and I think you guys do a great job.
I appreciate that.
And I think the work with Zion PD was a big one too.
Yeah, it was.
Because there was no relationship with here and Zion, and now there is, and that's a big plus in itself.
That was
So
one of the first goals we had
Right.
coming in, was initially just to build that relationship.
Dave, you got anything?
Yeah, I do.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, Chad, nice meeting you, and thanks
Yeah,
for
you too.
preparing this book. So it's very informative to understand the transition from police to rangers.
Yeah,
So
and that's it. I mean, like you
So-
said, you have questions at any
Oh.
point,
Okay.
because it's not super, you know, it's
That's
more of
good.
just a quick overview.
Good.
Like I said, I don't want to bore you with it either.
No problem at all. And as I do have questions, I will reach out for you. So
Yeah, absolutely, please do.
But thank you.
We're always,
So.
Anybody else? Jess, you got anything?
Do you got?
okay, that's a good question. So, last year at this time, we had, well, last winter, winter 2022, there was 4 of us. During the summer of last year, we got up to about 6. Right now, we're sitting right about 8. But some of that, the way we work it, is I got some people that work every week, and then I've got some people who only work events. And the reason for that is, like, you know, June 29th or Independence Day, I want as many bodies as I can get there, but I can't promise them hours all the time. So most of the guys who work just events are police officers that work for other agencies full-time, and they come in and assist us with those. But like staffing wise, we're pretty good. I'll tell you, like, turnover rate, to give kind of idea. In the last year, we ended up losing 4 or 5 people, but every single one of those people got hired full-time by law enforcement agency. So everyone left on good terms. No one left on bad terms. It stinks for us that we lose them, but I'm proud that they were able to move their career forward, you know. Obviously, we're not gonna hold them back. And I look at it as, that means we hired the right people. You
That's
know,
a
and
positive
always
for
gonna be-
you.
Yeah, that's always gonna be an issue for every department around here, you know.
Right.
Of that, but that's the reason I lose someone. I can't get better than that.
Yeah.
You have 8 people weekly?
Not every single week working. So I have a handful of people that work most of the shifts. And then
Okay.
the other people work in, help cover, you know, every concert in the park, we have an extra person. Every event, you know, Juneteenth, we have extra people. It doesn't matter what the event is, for the Park District event, we'll have extra people assigned just to that.
Okay.
Just to help people and
Good.
answer questions and things like that. So I always want that buffer built in because of that.
So in your presentation, the organizational chart will be your staff?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's,
All right.
now that was the end of last year, so obviously it's changed a little bit this year,
Okay.
you know. Because we lost some, but we gained more than we lost. So.
And the staff that you have, are they all full-time or part-time or?
So right now, I'm the only full-time
Okay.
person in the department, it's all part-time.
Okay.
All right, anybody else have anything? Again, Chad, great job. Keep up the great work, and it shows, so thank you.
So I appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Thanks for the book. I know
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
it's some effort, so thank you.
All right, next is the policy updates.
Okay. So, yep, our final agenda item there, a few policy updates. So our risk management liability company, which is Paderma, right, they will frequently provide guidance to us on new developments in our industry that may necessitate our district to adopt some new policies. Obviously, all the park districts in Illinois operate a little differently, so we'll always kind of reviewing Paderma's guidance and their communications. And there were a few policies here recently that, you know, Kay really honestly took the lead on, to say that, you know what, this is gonna be, these policies will affect us, this is gonna be necessary for our operations because of all the youth that we employ, and the youth that we interact with, you know, throughout the park district. So there are 4 different policies here in the packet. They are so boundary violations, electronic communication with minors, mandated and non-mandated reporter. That one's going to be an update, and the code of conduct is going to be an update. So we're really looking at 2 new policies and 2 policies to be updated. So the boundary violations, I'll let Kay talk about the boundary violations and just kind of what that policy, you know.
So it's
refers
really
to.
Outlining what the employee should do, and DCFS being called. So it just gives the employee a really clear explanation of what is considered a violation. So it really spells that out for them. When we work with really young staff, they sometimes have they don't understand what boundary violation means. So
Giving them a massage, putting their hand on their
Right.
thigh, you know, not
kissing
appropriate,
them
not
on the
appropriate
face
for,
or
you
stuff
know.
like that. So it really kind of sets that, what it specifically is telling them. And it breaks it down for, you know, their behaviors. The other thing is the vehicle boundary violations. You know, we really do not allow staff to give participants rides. That is really not allowed. So it just really kind of spells it all out. We do have some employees that their brother or sister goes to camp, so they're an employee, but we make exceptions to that because they're family members. So it really gives a very detailed description of what we're talking about there.
It's good to provide guidance for them.
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
for sure.
And the new one is, one of the new ones is the electronic communication, and
Yeah.
that's just, I mean, everybody's connected to their phone. I guess the most important one that I found that I really didn't know about was the last part where a parent can say, I don't want you to contact my child by phone, and we would have to abide that. So, you know, all the communication is done a lot by phone, texting.
Social media.
Social media.
So,
So just making sure that the employee knows what those boundaries are with their phones, and us too, what
And
our boundaries are with
supervisor,
them
yeah.
with their phones, right?
Right.
So that one's a new one. The mandated reporter one is just really all our mandated reporters, employees, they're required to take a DCFS training so they understand mandated. What's added there is a non-mandated reporter and what that definition is, and they're pretty much supposed to follow the same guidelines as what a mandated reporter is. They're just not required to do the DCFS training that we require mandated reporters to. That's recently been updated. It now includes, like, you know, the police officers and the rangers and some staff that deal directly with children.
so talking about reporting, right?
Right.
Child abuse, child
Yeah.
neglect, sexual assault,
Right.
right?
And the last one is the code of conduct. We did have a code of ethics in our manual, but we didn't have a code of conduct. So that was recommended to add a code of conduct. So it just kind of lays that out for the employee, what they will do and what they won't do. And so it gives some real specific directions for the employee. And then they're required to sign off on that too. So we'll add these policies to our safety trainings that we do with staff every year, and it'll just be a clearer picture based off what PERDERMA's recommendations are.
Right, and it's an update to our personnel policy.
Right.
How often do you go through the policy manual and update it like as you did here?
We just went through it, honestly, pretty extensively. Marilyn and I did when Marilyn retired as executive director about you know, a year and a half ago, her and I went through the whole thing to kind of make sure that everything was up to date.
Right.
But other than that, I would say, again, Paderma will provide us guidance on some specific policies, and they'll say, if you guys don't have a policy on social media,
Right.
you need to look at this policy and implement it, right? But other than that, right now we don't have a set time frame. Is the best answer I can give you as far as like when we do it. But between myself, Kay, Christine, Rich, Chad, you know, Alan, we're all aware of, you know, the policies that will affect the different jobs throughout the park district, and we do try to keep up on it. And when we do have updates to it, that's what we bring to the board for their approval and feedback.
And Paderma, our insurance company, is really good about sending out notices, and
Mhm.
we go to trainings
Okay.
annually, so they give us really good, thorough updates and how to run it and
IAPD.
stuff.
IAPD
good
is a
as
big
well.
one, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. I was just wondering if you had a procedure like, well, I am doing an annual or biannual review.
Pretty much when you're told
We
to.
don't, yeah, we don't have like a set schedule date, no.
Okay, anybody else have anything? Great job on this, Kay. This is, I know this is pretty intense, so, it's not something you can just throw together in an hour, so, good job on this, Kay. Really appreciate it.
So
All
you
right.
need a motion to
Motion to
approve it.
approve those.
Yes,
I'm
we're
back.
gonna do that right now.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
I make the motion to.
No, I'll do that.
What?
All right, I'll entertain a motion that we approve the policy updates on minors and vulnerable adults.
I make a motion to approve and vote to update and include to our employee and volunteer handbooks. And our updates to include the boundary violations, the electronic communication with minors and vulnerable adults, updates, non-mandated reporter updates, and code of conduct updates.
A second.
I have a second. Kay, please read the roll call.
Commissioner Rivers,
Aye.
Commissioner Pye,
Aye.
Commissioner Fermate,
Aye.
President Hartnett.
Aye. All right, anything else, Eric? All right, I will go ahead and entertain a motion that we adjourn the regular meeting of the Zion Park District dated 15 June 2023.
So it's coming.
Second.
I have a second. Kay, please read the roll call.
Commissioner Rivers,
Aye.
Commissioner Pye,
Thank you.
Commissioner Fermate, President Hartnett.
Aye. Good job.
Good job.